Also, the storm down here that's working a little farther to the southeast. This little appendage is where Chris was showing you that we got the rotation indicators there coming in toward the Milan area. So we'll zoom back in on that one. This is a little fresher or younger storm, if you will, and then we'll flip it over here to what's going on with the radar and look at the lightning. I'm sorry, with the velocities we go here, and you'll be able to see what's going on inside that storm. So this is not quite as clear cut, but again, remember if the radar is right on Stony Creek Road, have some inflow possibilities here on the front side of it, and then some circulation is a concern with this storm right in that Stony Creek area. Again, drifting to the southeast here toward Milan, Augusta as well. Will kind of give you an idea from there to the southeast what could be going on. So that's the concern. US 23, Stony Creek Road. If you know that area, here's Milan to the south. A little bit farther to the west, you can see Saline here, but this is drifting southeast, going to work its way out of the county eventually, but it's moving slow enough now. You got flooding concerns as well as everything else. So we'll widen this out and tell you that anybody in this region, even if you're close to the box but not quite in it, you're going to want to be taking cover right now. It's the red boxes that we've got on here. It's hard to tell. Actually, I'll take the radar off a little bit real quick, just so you can see. It does extend up here still in Livingston County. So from that region about Brighton and to the south through the county, and then all of Washtenaw County, concerns now about what's going on with the rotation in some of these storms. Chris told you we have confirmation up on the Gregory area that there was a touchdown that was seen there by the public, and this is the Pinckney region still going gangbusters there. All these storms likely to give you flooding rains, at least some size of hail, and then also the winds that we're concerned about, not just thunderstorm winds, but rotation. So things drifting to the east-southeast at around 25 miles per hour. The heaviest pockets will go back in, and I'll show you what we're concerned about right now. Let me just quick flip it over to velocity. I know this all looks a little weird when we put the green and the red up here, but it allows us to take a peek. Some of the hot spots here, some high winds over here by Hamburg now, just to the southwest. Hell's sitting right in there, just east of Hell's, just southwest of Hamburg, and around the Whitmore Lake area. And then again, the green couplets, so the green and red couplets that we're looking at here. Let me just take a little peek. Mostly concerned about this region again around Milan. So the Stony Creek Road, you can see, I'll circle Milan for you on the map so it's a little bit easier to see. But this is the concern here. Here's Milan down in this region right here. They've got Stony Creek going like that, and here's US 23. So from there to the southeast, this little couplet working toward Augusta is a little concern of ours too as we watch that. So let me switch it back on here to what you're used to seeing on the radar. And that little, again, appendage, if you want to call it that, this sticking out from the storm. The storm, again, is moving to the east-southeast, but watching this region right in here that may have some rotation with it, some winds going in different direction as we go along. So we're sitting here at 4 o'clock. You see the clock now is at 4 o'clock. The areas will widen this out. I doubt that they've dropped all the warnings up to the north. No, let's do a little check here, and you can see that those are still in place. So anywhere in this area, really, I guess the message that we're going to give you is you got to stay safe and think about being real diligent. I know it's been a while already, but until 4:45 or so, that you can see these storms move through. So generally drifting, I'll put it in motion here the last half an hour or so you can see how the storms go, and then we'll toss it over to Chris in just a second, Matt. So here's a look at how the storms have been moving. Again, for a while, kind of east-northeast, and then some of these different cells starting to turn a little bit more and strengthen as we go along. So tornado warning cell 445 for Washtenaw County, and extended again up into the north through the southern part of Livingston County as we go along. Chris?
Yeah, I just want to show a little different perspective here as we continue to keep you advised of the tornado warnings in Washtenaw County. Just be alert, southwest Wayne County. You're not under a warning yet, but those intense storms that Dave's been tracking in the Milan area, those are moving east at 25 miles per hour. So we're not going to be surprised at all to see warnings which could be issued at any time for at least a part of Wayne County as these drift to the east. They are not presently showing any indications of rotation in western Wayne County, but we do want to give you a heads up. That's probably going to happen. Now, speaking of rotation, we just received, and this is going to be the first time that I've seen it. This is from one of our viewers, Whitmore Lake. This is in Whitmore Lake and Spicer Road a few minutes ago. I don't know exactly when, but clearly as I look at that for the first time, it does indeed look like there is a funnel near the lowest part where that where the storm center has lowered down in what we call a wall cloud. There clearly appears to be rotation. As I look at that, in the bottom third of the screen, screen and toward the left side that does not look like it's in contact with the ground. Technically, if it's not in contact with the ground, it's a funnel cloud, not a tornado. But either way, and although that does not look like a monstrous Great Plains tornado, we're fortunate that it didn't look that way. This, once again, a report from Whitmore Lake, Spicer Road. This is the same storm that we have been tracking. This is the same storm that continues to track across far northern Washtenaw County right now. And that's what we see right in this area. It's continuing to move to the east, and as it does so, areas slightly to the east of Whitmore Lake. You see there Whitmore Lake right near the top of the screen there, the indication from that picture. It is moving to the east, crossing Whitmore Lake Road right now, and the storm system is still very intense, still intense enough that it continues to have a tornado warning associated with it. That purple shading that you see there, that's some of the most intense, and we do indicate some shear velocities in that area right now that are at least 53 miles per hour. That is a minimum sort of wind speed that could be encountered within that particular storm. That, once again, is storm number 1. However, we're tracking a different storm down toward Milan that is also intense, that also has shown some rotation within the radar within it, and that storm just moving to the east of US 23 now, approaching the Augusta area. As it moves to the east, you should be in a safe place. You should be in your basement, whatever the lowest level of the structure where you are, the safest structure that you can get into. That tornado warning does continue in Washtenaw County. For now, we don't have any warnings for Wayne County, but it is possible that could change very soon. And we will continue to keep you updated on this. Dave, what's the latest you have?
Yeah, you know what, we're going to do some storm tracking here. We've been showing you where this thing is and what's the most intense here. Obviously, it's the areas in red here until 4:45. But for people a little bit farther downwind, if you will, I'm going to stop this here now, and then we'll do a little storm tracking, kind of get things cleared up a little bit. We'll go by each cell. We'll start down here with the one that's just north of Milan now, and we'll get a little indication on the setup for this. Chris, this one's been moving kind of eastish, right?
East at 25.
At 25, all right. So we'll go down here. We'll just take the front edge of this, and we'll give you an idea of where it's going now. We'll circle this around in here and kind of give you the front edge that could have the gusty winds. We'll move this to the east now. I gotta get a little bit bigger space here. Give me 1 second, and give you an idea where this thing is going to be going now. Again, you notice the motion has changed again with these storms, which actually in this case is sort of good. So we'll take this and put it out at 25 miles an hour, and you'll be able to see that some of the areas now toward New Boston, eventually around 4:15. Again, we're about 4 minutes after 4. Each one of these sections of the red here is a 15-minute increment. So New Boston about 12 minutes or so from now, around 4:15 is a few minutes after 4 right now. And then the next 15 minutes it works more toward Huron, and it works its way more and more out to the east as we go along through time now. So this is a very intense storm. The front edge of it will have gusty winds. That's what we're tracking, just because that's what obviously gets you first. Probably some hail in here, lots of lightning and flooding rain. The tail end of this is what we're concerned about now, with the wind areas that may be more problematic in terms of rotation and or some kind of circulation. That's going to follow the storm. So as you get into the darkness and you get into heavy rain, you can't tell what's going on. Sometimes it's harder for us to see inside. So as this storm moves to the east of those areas, you'll want to take cover now and give you an idea there of when it's coming in your area. We'll back up a little bit farther. You can see again the rotation concerns, what's going on up here in and around the Dexter area. We'll zoom in on this region right now. And again, this one was moving southeast, but this is the area that we're going to look at right now. You see it's in Dexter over here to the west. It's stretched out along the highway there, and that's going to be moving to the east as well. They started moving east, they dove southeast a little bit, intensified the rotation, and now moving more east again. So here's Dexter, so keep that in mind. We're going to take that storm, we'll widen out a little bit, and we will track it, excuse me, to show you. I'll just take this whole mass actually that's kind of right in here, and we'll track it to the east at around 25, and you'll be able to see, whoops, I didn't let go there. Hang on 1 second. And we'll give you an idea. Okay, let me move the box out of the way here. All right, so working toward Northfield first and then Dixboro. Again, 15-minute increments. There's 15 minutes. That line is a half an hour. That line is 45 minutes. Now, will the storm be the same form, same intensity? Perhaps not, but the concern is they're very strong right now, so we got to look out over the next few minutes. Northfield here around 4:14, working toward Brookville and eventually toward Canton. You get into western Wayne County. There are no warnings for Wayne County right now, but this area is moving toward that region. Canton, if it holds together, 4:51, a little bit after 5 in Livonia. So that's that one particular indicator storm that's very intense right now, moving to the east as we go along. Again, each one of these red blocks on this line, or this blob, if you will, is about 15 minutes. So it gives you an idea of how the storm is moving. We'll back out one more time. Again, keep in mind we have tornado warnings for all these areas in red right now. And the concern is that about any time, with the way these storms have been pulsing and strengthening and then quickly decreasing and strengthening again very quickly, you have to be concerned. So you can see generally the movement is to the east here, perhaps a little bit of a northerly drift as well to the northeast as the storms continue to get stronger. So anywhere in red, southern part of Livingston County, southern third or so, including Brighton to the south, down US 23, Pinckney, Hamburg, Hal, you're all in those regions there, and then all of Washtenaw County, including, of course, Ann Arbor, and then areas around Ann Arbor toward Ypsilanti. Everything's moving to the east, maybe a little northerly drift now too, and so we'll stop this now and go in one of these more intense cells that's just getting to west part of Wayne County. Again, there's not a warning here, but you can see the one cell is in Canton right now, and we'll track that as you go along. It looks like it's going to kind of ride right along US 12. You can see there's Michigan right there. So following US 12, kind of to the east-northeast, headed toward eventually Dearborn and Dearborn Heights coming out of the Plymouth-Canton area. There's not a warning for that, but that's the leading edge, getting to some fresher air, so that one likely will strengthen as we go along. Here's the one we looked at that was north of Milan, heading toward Milan. It's taken this turn again. Chris, these look like they're really starting to turn more back to the left.
Yes, they do.
As they progress through time. So here's the storm around Belleville. Of course, you got 94 right there, south of 94. This storm system, there's Sumter Township, working its way kind of to the east-northeast now into the southern part of Wayne County, perhaps getting across 75 in some of the downriver communities over here. There's Wyandotte, as you can see. So the concern is that as we keep the strength of these storms, we might get some new warnings for Wayne County. If you're not under warning right now, but you're western Wayne County, look to your west and start thinking about where am I going to go, what am I going to do if there's a problem here, because it's likely that these storms will hold together. Perhaps not the same kind of strength, but it's likely that they will hold together as we go along. So again, I'll put the motion on here real quick and show you what's happening. And you can see again, east-northeast movement around 25 miles per hour. The areas in red are the tornado warning, still 445, but starting to get into southwest Oakland County, Commerce, Novi, South Line. You're getting it pretty good right now. Western Wayne County, it's all advancing into those areas. No warnings yet, but you got to treat these like warnings as we go along. Chris, what you got?